Imagine the following scene: an old hotel with narrow corridors, dark stories, and a heavy atmosphere. In one of the rooms, a 21-year-old Canadian student is staying alone. Days later, her body would be found in a water tank on top of the building. This is the disturbing story of Elisa Lam, a case that to this day fuels theories, fear, and mystery. Elisa Lam, the daughter of Hong Kong immigrants, lived in Vancouver, Canada. Intelligent, dreamy, and with her life ahead of her, she also struggled with a difficult diagnosis: bipolar disorder and depression. Despite this, she decided to travel alone to the United States in January 2013, seeking experiences, self-discovery, and freedom. On January 26th, Elisa arrived in Los Angeles and checked into the famous Cecil Hotel, located downtown, a place with a dubious reputation, the scene of murders, suicides, and the haunt of serial killers like Richard Ramirez. It was definitely not a safe environment for a young woman alone and in emotional distress. During the first days of her trip, Elisa maintained constant contact with her parents by phone and text. They worried about her mental health, but supported her on her adventure. However, on January 31st, Elisa stopped responding. The silence continued for days, until on February the 1st, her family reported her missing. Police began searches inside and outside the hotel. Staff were questioned and rooms were inspected, but nothing seemed to indicate where Elisa might be. Then, on February 13th, a video released by authorities would change everything. A video that would go viral worldwide, transforming the case into a global mystery. The video showed the last known images of Elisa Lam, recorded by a security camera in one of the Cecil Hotel's elevators. In the footage, Elisa appears nervous, entering and exiting the elevator, pressing various buttons, hiding in corners, and gesturing to someone or something invisible. The images shocked the public. Was Elisa the victim of stalking? Was she running from someone? Or was it a psychotic episode caused by bipolar disorder? The video was just over 4 minutes long, but it sparked thousands of theories. The strangeness of her movements seemed to mask something larger and darker. Meanwhile, guests at the Cecil Hotel began complaining about the water quality. The pressure was low, the color was dark, and some even reported a strange taste when drinking it. Then, on February 19th, 2013, hotel staff decided to inspect the water tanks on the top floor of the building. Inside one of the boxes, Elisa Lam's body floated, in an advanced state of decomposition. Naked, with her clothes found floating nearby, the young woman had been found in a nearly inaccessible location. To get there, she would have had to climb to the terrace, open a heavy lid, and throw herself inside. But how? The autopsy revealed no signs of sexual violence or physical assault. There were no illicit drugs in her system, only prescription medication to treat her bipolar disorder. The official report concluded that her death was accidental drowning, possibly aggravated by her mental state. But for many, this explanation was unsatisfactory. Critics questioned, how could Elisa have managed to open the water tank lid on her own, considered heavy and difficult to handle? And how could she have climbed up to the site unnoticed, given that access to the terrace was restricted and had security alarms? These questions further fueled the mystery. Other theories gained traction. Some believed Elisa was the victim of murder, perhaps by someone at the hotel or a guest. Others suggested she might have been lifted to the top by supernatural force. After all, the Cecil Hotel already carried a macabre aura, with decades of stories linked to death. The supernatural theory gained traction among those who watched the elevator video. Many pointed out that Elisa seemed to be interacting with something invisible, as if she were talking to or fighting with a presence that was tormenting her. Some believed it was proof of an evil entity at work within the hotel. Others argued that Elisa was experiencing a psychotic episode, Bipolar disorder, when left untreated, can lead to episodes of delusions and hallucinations. The video apparently shows just that, a mind in conflict, battling internal ghosts no one else could see. The official investigation revealed that Elisa was not taking her medication correctly. Toxicology analysis revealed low levels of some drugs, which could indicate treatment interruption. This would increase the risk of a severe episode, potentially leading to erratic and dangerous behavior. Still, the rational explanation didn't silence conspiracy theories. Some internet users revisited the Cecil Hotel's history, discovering that it had been the scene of multiple suicides in its rooms and even unexplained deaths in previous decades. The building seemed cursed. Another curious detail caught our attention. Elisa Lam's case bore similarities to a Japanese horror film called Dark Water, released in 2002. In it, a girl is found dead in a building's water tank, and residents report dark, strange-tasting water. Coincidence or premonition? The case also sparked debate about the Cecil Hotel's negligence. Many questioned how the terrace alarms didn't go off and why it took so long to check the water tanks, even after guests reported strange water. Was it negligence, or was something else being covered up? Elisa's parents sued the hotel, alleging lack of security and negligence. However, the court dismissed the lawsuit, concluding that the young woman's behavior could not be foreseen and that the hotel could not be held liable for her death. Once again, the case ended without definitive answers. The internet, however, didn't let the case die. Forums, videos, and documentaries continued to explore every detail of the elevator video, every inconsistency in the report, and every possible theory. The mystery of Elisa Lam became a cultural phenomenon, attracting curious people from around the world. In 2021, Netflix released the documentary series Crime Scene: The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel, which featured new interviews and evidence. Still, the documentary left more questions than answers, reinforcing the dark weight of Elisa Lam's story. The case also raises important questions about mental health. Elisa shared her anguish on a blog, speaking openly about depression, self-esteem crises, and internal struggles. Her death exposed how psychiatric disorders can be invisible to others, but devastating to those who experience them. There's also the issue of voyeurism. The elevator video went viral, spreading worldwide, but few stopped to reflect on the pain of a young woman in crisis, exposed without context. Elisa Lam, transformed into a meme and conspiracy theory, lost her humanity in the face of morbid curiosity. The Cecil Hotel temporarily closed its doors after the incident, but its reputation endured. Today, it is considered one of the most haunted hotels in the world, attracting tourists and paranormal investigators. Elisa Lam's name is forever associated with the building. Even with official explanations, the feeling that something isn't adding up persists. The video, the circumstances surrounding the body, the restricted access to the terrace, everything seems to contradict the hypothesis of a simple accident. It's as if the case is doomed to never be fully resolved. Elisa Lam has joined the list of most disturbing modern mysteries alongside cases like John Benet Ramsey and Madeleine McCann. Her story blends crime, psychology, the supernatural, and negligence, creating an enigma that crosses cultural and temporal boundaries. The mystery of Elisa Lam forces us to reflect on the extent to which we can trust our rational explanations. When something can't be fully explained, our minds fill in the gaps with theories, beliefs, and even fantasies. It's in this empty space that fear sets in. In the end, the case remains unsolved. Was it an accident, a psychotic episode, murder, or something supernatural? Each person who learns about this story creates their own version of the truth, fueling the endless cycle of speculation. And so, Elisa Lam remains alive in the collective memory, like an enigma that never fades. Her death inside a water tank reminds us that sometimes reality is as dark as our worst imaginations. Did you enjoy the content? Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more fragments of the mind, where we reveal what many prefer to ignore.